In the headlines, head of the Police Welfare Association applauds promotion of police officers. 2 individuals, both over 50 years old, are the newly confirmed cases of COVID-19, taking Dominica's total number of confirmed cases to 35. And the Pan American Health Organization says Dominica among few countries ranked moderate risk in the context of COVID-19. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, business places, schools, and other institutions around the country participated in National Tree Planting Day on Thursday. Julian Morris has that story.
The Grotto Home for the Homeless engaged in the tree planting exercise in line with its vision of becoming a self-sustained institution. Makith George, who is in charge of the plant nurseries at the Forestry Division, says the fruit trees planted on Thursday will help make the Grotto's dream a reality.
We decided to give them at least 17 fruit trees, which includes tamarind, breadfruit, West Indian cherry, chapoti, and lots of other fruit trees. So that in the future of 3 years or 4 years, they would be able to harvest for themselves.
Domlec partnered with the Forestry Division to plant trees at the Grotto Home for the Homeless.
We chose the Grotto because the Grotto has a special place in our hearts. We have already done quite a bit of stuff for the Grotto. We support the Grotto annually with its electricity bill. And so we have done quite a bit with the Grotto and we'll continue to do with the Grotto. So today the Grotto have such beautiful land all over the place, and we felt that it would be nice if we could plant some trees that can be sustainable. And you eat what you grow and you grow what you eat.
There were other major tree planting projects carded for Thursday.
As far as the standpoint, we deliver trees to all the schools across Dominica, and they will be planting today. Plus NEPs and Village Council, they will be planting today. So I know Colibistry River is planted today by the Rosa Range, and the Central Range are doing Cassibra School, Bell School.
The Dominica State College also played its part in the National Tree Planting Day activities.
The Dominica State College, we have a mandatory voluntary program, which we call service learning. So this program engages students in different activities to give back to the community. So on National Tree Planting Day, it is ideal for the service learning program to spearhead this project that we beautify the school. I want to say a big thank you to Mr. Midgeton Burton of the Forestry Department, who donated the plants to us at the college. And of course, thank you to the students. And in future, we are going to continue along with the beautification project. So I will add, or rather, I will ask that anybody out there who is willing to donate some plants to the college, will happily receive them, because we intend on beautifying our space as we go along.
40 plants were donated to the Dominica State College for participation in National Tree Planting Day.
In more top stories, Chairman of the Police Welfare Association, Jefferson Drago, has applauded the recent promotion of police officers in the service. Though congratulating the promotion of police officers, Drago believes more thought should have been given to promoting senior officers.
There were some very deserving appointments made. However, in our opinion, the administration did not consider the senior police officers with experience and service. A lot of them, there are certain people that have much more time, and some that have very little time. However, we took it for a grain of salt to say that's the first set of promotion that we made by the President Chief. The recommendations that were before the Commission was there before him. So we are not going to put blame on him.
Drago is also commending the leadership style of Acting Chief of Police Lincoln Corbett, who was officially given the post on 1st September this year. Corbett is expected to serve in the position until 30th September 2021.
His leadership is very open, and he consults with the welfare. I can say for sure so far we have consulted with the Welfare Association. We have had a meeting with us. We'll do things together because coming up on the 30th of October, Friday, 30th of October, there's a get-together for police officers. As you know, police officers, in his consideration and our consideration, police officers have worked extremely hard, stretching from Erica to Maria, Carnival to COVID without rest. So collectively, we felt that the membership needed some time to enjoy themselves.
On to health matters. 2 more confirmed cases of COVID-19 have been reported, bringing to 35 the total number of confirmed cases in Dominica thus far. The new cases are a 60-year-old male of Canefield and a 53-year-old female from the Portsmouth area.
They were detected through routine screening on October 15th and October 17th, respectively. These are imported cases. Both had valid negative PCR results before entry into Dominica. They are asymptomatic. One of them has underlying medical condition, namely hypertension. 15 contacts were identified and investigated from the case number 34 and none from the case number 35. All contacts were negative through PCR testing. All contacts are currently in isolation. So in summary, as of today, the total number of confirmed cases is 35. Total active cases are now 6. Total contacts investigated since the opening of the border are 157. All are negative except 3 of them. That's included in the number of positive cases.
Dr. Ahmed says there is no evidence of community transmission. But he warns that community transmission is inevitable if citizens fail to follow the health guidelines. In related news, Executive Director of the Dominica Association of Persons with Disabilities says COVID-19 has presented significant challenges to members of the disabled community. Nathalie Murphy told Wednesday's Ministry of Health press briefing on COVID-19 that messaging on COVID-19 protocols for people with disabilities is one area which requires special attention.
We were concerned with the way the information was being disseminated to some of our constituents. For example, a person who is deaf or hard of hearing, when you have messages, public announcements in audio going out, these people do not have access to that information. So we suggested that some sign language interpretation be instituted or video presentations where these people will actually see what is really going on and understand, so that they too will be able to ensure that they protect themselves. I don't know to what extent we have closed captioning, but that this would have been a very good area to assist these persons to get the message across.
Murphy says the authorities have to be sensitive to the particular needs of those with disabilities when disseminating information.
We heard of social distancing, we heard of health protocols, we heard of quarantine, we heard of wearing of mask. A person who is blind, I remember once there was a presentation on one of the press briefings, and they were showing how you should put on your mask I was confused as a blind person because I didn't know what was going on. There was nobody around to show us or to assist us to ensure that the mask are worn properly. We have persons who are blind, who live alone. They do not have access to pipe-borne water, but yet still we were told that we have to engage frequent hand washing, sanitizing. How do these persons acquire these relief supplies if they don't have the means to do so? So these were some of the things that really concerned us as an organization. There was a young man who returned from studies, a blind young man who had to be quarantined. And he experienced great difficulty in the center because the persons were not trained to deal with him, to assist. The orientation was not done as it was supposed to. And I'm not blaming anybody, but these are things that we have to consider going forward, because persons who are blind and visually impaired, we depend on sighted persons to help us. We talk about social distancing. How can I not have someone assist me as I am blind when you talk about social distancing, physical distancing?
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Welcome back. The Pan American Health Organization says Dominica is among few countries doing very well in the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. PAHO's country program specialist Anik Wilson says Dominica is presently rated a moderate risk country by the Center for Disease Control, CDC.
This, however, does not allow for complacency. Vigilance and continued public health measures must be emphasized and practiced always. This includes social distancing, wearing of masks, and hand washing or sanitization of hands when washing is not possible. One may ask, what's the main objective of health services in its response to COVID-19? This would be primarily to save lives. However, in this time of uncertainty, it is to prevent as much as possible the disruption to health services to the public. Our director, Dr. Carissa Etienne, said, prolonged response to this pandemic must include continued provision of other essential life-saving services. Hence, PAHO is calling on countries to adapt to this new situation and to re-engineer how essential care is delivered and to invest in the first level of care, using things like telemedicine, home visits, and community outreach programs to support vulnerable populations. At the same time, they must also mitigate the efforts of COVID-19. This is not a choice. Rather, governments must strike that careful balance for the sake of public health.
Of concern is the fact that caring for COVID-19 patients could deplete human and other resources needed to care for non-COVID patients.
We must note that all actions that reduce the incidence of cases in each time period will help to prevent the collapse of the health services. We must learn from what has happened in many countries that had community spread, and by so doing, put measures in place to prevent disruption of services especially to clients with chronic diseases, children and adults who may require immunization, antenatal services, among other services. In the Washington, D.C. August 4th publication, it was noted that health services are being disrupted in countries of the Americas as health workers are redirected to care for COVID-19 patients. As such, people hesitate to seek routine care due to fears of infection, and global supply chains of medicines and equipment are strained and even difficult to obtain. They are without much needed doctors and nurses available to offer essential services at the first level of care, including pregnancy-related care and management of chronic conditions like diabetes or infectious diseases, such as dengue, HIV, and TB. These services can be severely impacted.
Suggestions on how to improve the regional economic recovery strategies in light of the COVID-19 pandemic to be brought to the fore next week. Julian Morris explains.
This is among the aims of a regional private sector dialogue on trade facilitation and the COVID-19 pandemic organized by the Network of Caribbean Chambers of Commerce, CARICHAM. According to Executive Director of the DIC, Liz Fabian, Dominica's private sector and key stakeholders will take part in the virtual event scheduled for next week.
The recommendations from this dialogue will be presented to CARICOM's Council for Trade and Economic Development, which is quoted, to influence and inform our regional economic recovery strategies. Regional and international trade have been adversely affected and impacted by measures taken to contain and minimize the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. And our business community across the region have reported even more burdensome and time-consuming import and export procedures at borders, which have intensified the COVID-19 challenges to survive and pivot in the face of the pandemic.
The virtual regional private sector dialogue is a joint initiative of CARICHAM, the CARICOM Secretariat, and the OECS Commission with support from UNCTAD, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development.
Furthermore, at this dialogue, we will provide a platform for CARICOM private sector representatives and business support organizations like DIC to discuss the COVID-19 related trade facilitation challenges and priorities of our business community, in particular the MSME sector, which accounts for 90% of the businesses in CARICOM. It will also allow for participants to showcase successful strategies that businesses have employed amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Trade facilitation best practices will also be shared with regional partners by international organizations.
Representatives of regional and international organizations who are involved in trade facilitation, which includes the International Chamber of Commerce, the World Bank Group, the International Trade Center, the World Trade Organization Secretariat, and UNCTAD, will share trade facilitation best practices that have been adopted as part of the global response to trade facilitation, as well as supporting business continuity and keeping international supply chains open.
And restrictions posed by the COVID-19 pandemic have led to the cancellation of this year's Creole in the Streets. But one of the regular vendors is not daunted. Gail Esprit has continued to produce her products in spite of the cancellation of this year's event. Creole in the Streets, organized and hosted by the NDFD, would have been held this Friday, but organizers cancelled it in light of the COVID-19 restrictions.
I would like to introduce you to my Jasmine satchel. It has a wooden handle, a small bag, can be used as any accessory to your warp duet. Actually, it was a custom order. A friend who asked me to make one like that for her. Her name was Jasmine, so I named it after. Wooden handle, nice small bag. If you're going out with, your warp, a nice little outing. Because of the COVID-19, I wanted to try new materials, and for this one I call it the cut style pouch wristlet. As you can see, it's a wristlet. Inside has a wipeable material, so if you spill anything you can easily just wipe it off. And I continue with the wipeable material inside. I call this one my no comments pouch. It's written peace. You know, a small pouch, you can just put whatever you want in it, makeup, coins, whatever you want in it, and just drop it in your bag, carry it wherever you're going. One of my favorite items of making is the clutch. It has been popular for the past 2 years, and I think it's a good accessory for anybody in their Creole outfits. Not only for Creole outfits, you can dress it up, you know, if you're going to a very classy event, and you can use it as an accessory. This year, I decided to do crossbody. So this one is a simple crossbody bag, a little embellishment. I'm doing it in Madras, so you can, especially for the teenagers who like hands-free, and COVID, not everybody like things in their hands, so you can put it across your shoulders and just go downtown and enjoy a hands-free bag.
Gail can be contacted via her Facebook page at GW Bags and Purses or at 245-4498.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. Head of the Police Welfare Association applauds the promotion of police officers. 2 individuals, both over 50 years old, are the newly confirmed COVID-19 cases, bringing Dominica's total number of confirmed cases to 35. And the Pan American Health Organization says Dominica is among few countries ranked moderate risk in context of COVID-19. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis, and to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.